medicines known as carcinogens. They are prepared as per the monetary quality. Then we have nosos. Nosos is the disease part or the disease secretion that has been processed by homeopathic principles, and the medicine which is developed is known as nosos. Then we have imponderatia. This is energy, uh, X-ray or the lunar energy. These energies are being subjected by the principles to form medicine that is known as imponderatia. The potency which is used is centesimal. Centesimal is denoted by C. That is, in this realization is 1:100. One part of the medicine and 100 parts of the medical which is being used. So, centesimal potency. Then we have decimal potency 1:9. That is one part of the medicine and 9 parts of the medical. Then there is something called LN potency, which is further analysis. So these are the potencies. This is the basic concept. I'm not going much deeper into that, but an idea whenever you see the label and all, see whether potency is mentioned or not, whether drug is mentioned or not. Then Ayush infrastructure or scope of drug market. So this data is from Ayush India, which is published by Ministry of Ayush. Last publication was in 2020. So you can see the total strength of Ayush practitioners, Ayush hospitals, and the pharmacies. So homeopathic drug manufacturing units are around 384, and all total Ayush drug manufacturing units is around 8,000. So now we are here, why we have come over here is regarding regulation for drugs, why it is needed. Drugs are being manufactured, why we need a proper guidance document for regulation. So these regulations are needed to prescribe and enforce standards. Standards for what? For manufacturing, there should be some standards for testing, for sale. For sale, when it is going in market, it cannot be just thrown out like we are selling food or we are selling other consumer goods. Because it is a sensitive thing, so it should be regulated under sale license or it should be sealed by proper standards. Then how it should be marketed, the testing I have already mentioned. Then another component is advertisement. Advertisement of drugs is very important because ultimately the aim of any drug regulation is patient safety, consumer safety. So for the safety, the advertisement also plays an important part because we should refrain from such advertisements which can cause self-medication. Because self-medication will also be hazardous for the consumer. So advertisement of drugs is also regulated. Then we also, after this regulation, we have to also ensure that it's not strict regulation in emergency, it is not available. So availability of drugs is also important. Then we have the three pillars of, when we talk about drug regulation, the three pillars are quality, safety, and efficacy. We have to ensure these three pillars are intact. Whenever a regulation is formed, we consider all this into consideration. To promote public protection from hazardous or harmful effects of drugs. So obviously, if you can't cure, at least do not harm. That is the basic knowledge we have. So if we are giving a drug, we also have to have an understanding that it is not hazardous or harmful effect it is not doing. That's why we have the pharmacovigilance scheme or the pharmacovigilance program, wherein we get the hazardous or harmful effects which when the drug is being marketed, then whatever effect is coming, we got that and we do action as per requirement so that the public health is safeguarded. So that's why we need drug regulation. In the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, you have to appreciate that it is for India. So we will not talk about other countries. Whatever product is coming to India, that has to follow the law of the land. That is the Drugs and Cosmetic Act and rules for India. So this prescribes certain procedures and conditions for manufacturing, testing, labeling, sales, distribution, and post-marketing surveillance. Post-marketing surveillance is also a part which the industry, whoever is from in the industry, they must be knowing Like whenever they are selling these products in the market, then we have to follow the post-market surveillance of those products and whatever complaints are coming, they have to record, they have to notify, bring into observation of the drug authority also of such complaints or such feedback. How and in what manner, since whenever you are producing a medicine, what license you have to take, how you have to save it, all those things are mentioned over here. So that is regarding what you can do. So those are prescribed in Drugs and Cosmetic Act. It also prescribes what you cannot do. Okay, so it will say that you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Not in this language, but there are certain form of writing in which it is said what is the procedures or what you have to follow and what you cannot do. Now, if you have done something which was not to be done, then what is the penalty for you? So that is also prescribed. It can be financial, it can be imprisonment, or it can be like a cancellation, suspension of license. So these are the penalizing for committing any omission or violation of the prescribed rules. Then this act and rules also says that who is empowered to take action. Like I know that in this, when I read this rules, act and rules, then I know what is my jurisdiction. What a central government can do, what a state government can do. The state government also what a licensing authority can do, what a drug inspector can do. All powers or job description is there. Like what is the power of inspector that cannot be done by licensing authority. So all those who is empowered under this act is also mentioned in this section. So this is the Indian laws for drugs. These two are the main important ones, the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and the Rules 1945, and the Drugs and Magic Remedies Objectionable Advertisement Act 1954. So DNC is the central act to regulate import. I said that whenever you are coming to a country, you have to follow the rules of that land. So it regulates the import. Any drug is being imported, then they have to follow the Indian law. So we are not regulating export by this act. Because export, when it is going out that country, whatever rule that drug has to follow, that rule of that country. So only import, manufacture, distribution, sale of drugs and cosmetics through licensing. So at present, this is drugs and cosmetics goes together. So this is the central act which is followed by all drugs in India, that's allopathy also, homeopathy also, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani also, recently we have notified for Somalik also. So we have separate provisions for homeopathic drugs in this act and rules. So what are the legal provisions for homeopathic drugs? This first part is the act, and then in the act there will be sections. You cannot amend the act very easily. You have to go to the part of it. So the act will be the essence, or what is the power, what is the penalty, what will be. It will be the like objective. What objective this DNC will hold? That is in the act, and it is mentioned as sections. Okay, each number is mentioned as section. Then rules is the elaborate part of the act, that this for this purpose, for manufacturing purpose, what rules have to be followed. Those descriptive part is in the rules. The rules is also numbered, that is the rule part, and act we have the sections. So in the act, homeopathy is mentioned only in two places, that is first and second schedule of the act. First schedule has been recently introduced in the month of December. So, in the first schedule, we have notified certain books. Like when we will read for Ayurveda also, we have the first schedule where notification of certain Ayurvedic literature is there. Similarly, we have done for homeopathic literature. So these are the homeopathic literature which is recognized by the government, and whatever drugs are there, they will be treated as generic drugs and can be licensed easily by the state government. So these are the authoritative homeopathic literature. And second schedule is the quality standards of homeopathic drugs. That which standards we will follow for homeopathic drugs that is mentioned in the second schedule. In the second schedule, you will find all the pharmacopoeia. In case of homeopathy, I forgot to mention like homeopathy is not an Indian, not origin in India. It has come from Germany. So that's why for homeopathy you will find various import, many import products are there. So that's why we have to allow the standards which is available in the abroad countries as well, like British homeopathic pharmacopoeia, US homeopathic pharmacopoeia, German homeopathic pharmacopoeia, European homeopathic pharmacopoeia, French homeopathic pharmacopoeia. All these are also recognized in India. So whatever standard these medicines are followed from that pharmacopoeia is also acceptable. Other than that, obviously our homeopathic pharmacopoeia of India is there, that is there for the standard. And apart from that, if any other standards that the central government sets up, that will be also applicable while referring the standard for homeopathic drugs. So these are the standards of homeopathic drugs and what are the authoritative criteria I have told you. Now we have the drug rules. In the drug rule, initial part there will be definition of all the terms because that will be the scope of that drug or the law because whatever product is coming, you have to refer the definition of that. Then only you will be able to regulate it. What law will be applicable will be defined as per your birth, means how it is being categorized. So you have to categorize the drugs as per the definition given in this rule book. So ASU drugs have a different definition, homeopathic drugs have a different definition. If any drug, whichever they are claiming to be homeopathic, they should follow that rule, then only they can label that as a homeopathic drug. So these are the portions I've summarized in this one slide that we will be reading about each rule. Over here we have the definition of homeopathic drug and we have the central drug testing laboratory where we are taking where the homeopathic medicines, affiliate laboratory for homeopathic medicines are tested. Then import provisions are there because that most of the homeopathic medicines are also imported. So we have import provisions. We don't have import provisions for ASU drugs. Then we have sale license for homeopathic medicines. We don't have sale license for ASU medicines. So specific sale license criteria are there. So it is not like homeopathic medicine can be sold anywhere. All the who need to have commercial selling of homeopathic medicine, they have to obtain a sale license. Then manufacturing license and their procedures are mentioned under these rules. Then packaging criteria are there. Exemption is there. Then good manufacturing practices are there. So this is an overview. Regulatory framework, there is central government, state government, and there is some statutory body. Central government is the authority which is forming this the provisions under this act and rules. So, but the enforcement part, इसके ऊपर काम कौन करेगा और who will take action is by the state government. License is given by the state government. If any sampling is given by the state government, but central government also in certain conditions has certain rules. So that is also mentioned. And the central government has powers to give directions to the state for uniformity of regulation. Then we have the Pharmacopoeia Commission of Indian Medicine and Homeopathy. You have learned about their achievements and what they do in the introductory presentation by our respected director. The Irish Vertical Institute, which I mentioned, which has been recently called for central supervision of Irish. State government, they are responsible for enforcement of legal provisions. They are responsible for appointing the licensing authority, the drug inspector, and the drug controller. Then they have state drug testing laboratory as well. Anyone from state drug testing laboratory over here? So then we have the appointment of government analysts. This is also done by the state government. And central it does, and it is called central inspectors. Then statutory bodies under Drugs and Cosmetic Act, we have Ayurveda Siddha Unani Drug Consultative Committee and the Ayurveda Siddha Unani Drug Technical Advisory Board. So these committees or this board, they give technical directions to the central government if any changes are to be required to make in the rule in the interest of the public, or there is some like manufacturing, they are facing any problem. So they will give the technical assistance or technical directions advisory to the government, and whatever changes are need to be brought under the rules that will be formed accordingly. The first schedule of the DMC Act, I mentioned that this first schedule mentions the authoritative literature which Ayush drugs. We have Ayurveda books, Siddha books, Unani, Sovareka, and now we have the homeopathic books also, which are recognized. So any drugs which is already mentioned in this book are considered as previously generic or classical, so they can be licensed by the state authority. Right. They do not require central approval. Then second schedule of the DNCR, which is the standard which is just have to follow. So first is the homeopathic drug. We have to see the standard in HPI. Homeopathic pharmacopoeia. If it is not available in HPI, then we will refer HPUS or German pharmacopoeia, homeopathic pharmacopoeia, French pharmacopoeia, European, so like that. If it is not mentioned in all the pharmacopoeia, then any other standard specified by the central government. So this is the definition of homeopathic medicine. In the initial stage, I mentioned that how the symptoms of the homeopathic medicines or homeopathic drug is qualified by drug fluid. So any drug which is intended for internal or external use for humans or animals, and which is intended for treatment, mitigation, prevention of disease or disorder. This language is same for all drugs. For a common definition of drugs, for every drug, this first the lines are same. And but for homeopathic medicine, it should have a record in the homeopathic fluid. Human subject trial should have been done. Trial, I will not say exactly trial, which is in the modern terminology. It is the homeopathic fluid since the symptoms are recorded from the healthy human being. Or the therapeutic efficacy of which has been established through long experience or research, and which is described in the homeopathic book, and which are prepared according to techniques of homeopathic pharmacy. So its preparation method should also follow the homeopathic principle of pharmacy. It is not like in Ayurveda also you are using blood and you will give in healthy human beings and symptoms record, you will not give call it as a homeopathic medicine until and unless it is processed or prepared as per homeopathic pharmacy technique. It also covers combination of homeopathic medicine or the homeopathic ingredients. It combined. It is also defined as homeopathic medicine. But it does not include any drug which is administered by parenteral route. Means parenteral route is not allowed for homeopathy also, and for ASP definition also, you will see it is not allowed. Then we have a definition of registered homeopathic medical practitioner. Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia Laboratory of Ghaziabad is the central drug laboratory under drug rules for testing of homeopathic drugs. And this is very important for homeopathic drugs. This rule 30A is unique to homeopathic medicine because import provision is there for homeopathic medicine. But with homeopathic medicine, the new homeopathic medicine needs to have a central approval from the drug control agency. If it is like generic or classical single ingredient, which is already mentioned in the pharmacopoeia, that can be easily imported. But for any new homeopathic medicine, they need to have a central approval. Then only the state can give a license to them. So new homeopathic medicine is a medicine which is not specified in the pharmacopoeia or which is not recognized in authoritative homeopathic literature, or a combination of such ingredients which is not mentioned in any of the pharmacopoeia or authoritative literature, or those combinations which was earlier approved, but see now you are changing the ratio, or now you are changing the claim or the indication of it, or so this will be also considered as new homeopathic medicine, and you need to have for such applications you need to refer the matter to the central government for central approval first, then only the license will be issued by the state. We are seeing like from Kerala we had earlier got representations regarding combination of homeopathic medicine, various combinations. They just show the license issued from other states, and they claim that now they can take license from Kerala also. Then Kerala state authority has referred the matter to central authority. So we see that these combinations are not approved by the center. First, any new combination needs to be approved by the center, then only the state can give a license. Then I told you that sale license of homeopathy is there, so you cannot sell homeopathic medicine commercially. I mean commercially because if there comes around that various homeopathic doctors are giving the medicines, preparing the medicines themselves and giving to the patient. These are not covered under license. Doctors or homeopathic practitioners, as in case of ASP practitioners also, they are exempted from DNC Act and rules. They can give sales to their own patients, not commercially. They will not like open a shop and sell like anybody is coming and they will say, give this medicine and doctor will give. No, he can give only to his patient without obtaining any license. So we have sale license of homeopathic medicine for commercial sales. The application is in Form 19B with a fees of ₹2,000. The state authority will delegate this power to a specific licensing authority in the state. And the form in which the license is issued is 20C for retail and 22 for wholesale. Duration of license, recently we have done this license of sale license of homeopathic medicine like one-time registration, lifetime validity. Okay. Just you need to have a declaration you have to fill every year that you are maintaining all the provisions of the Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Then you cannot sell homeopathic medicines with any qualifications. Whoever or whose name the license will be issued, they need to have certain qualifications. Okay, so this is also misconception. People have that anybody can open a homeopathic sales unit and start selling. So the qualifications is also mentioned under Rule 67F. That is either a homeopathic doctor, if he takes a license, he can sell, or a pharmacy graduate, they can take a license, or any graduate with 1 year of experience of working with a registered homeopathic practitioner, they can sell. Now, when I say here homeopathic practitioner can also open a shop, but he will not involve in the retail sales. If he is doing retail sales, then he will not practice in that premises. For practice, he has to have separate doctors. Because there should not be a vested interest that to increase his sales, he will prescribe randomly large quantities of medicine to the patient. So that is there. When conditions of license is there, that they have to manage the record of sales. In homeopathic medicine, the vehicle alcohol is mostly used, so you have to keep a record of sale of purchase of alcohol containing medicine. Okay, this is important because there should not be any misuse. Now we come to the manufacturing license. So manufacturing for sale of distribution of homeopathic medicine. This power is also delegated to the state. That state will notify a licensing authority for this purpose and they will give the license. In most of the states, at present, the allopathic licensing authority is also delegated power for licensing of homeopathic medicine. In few states only this delegation of power is different. So this license also now we have made it perpetual, that one-time registration license validity, and for generic or the classical ingredient medicine under one piece, that is ₹2,000, you can have any number of product license. But for combination of homeopathic medicine, you have to give ₹200 per product piece of the license. Now we have also allowed loan license for homeopathic medicine, that if somebody is not having a premises for manufacturing homeopathic medicine, a GMP certified premises, but they want to get license for certain products which they want to get license on, they can use the facility of a food manufacturing premises holder, like a GMP certified holder of homeopathic medicine under 25C. He can use his premises, but the license will be in the name of the loan license. So this is the recent amendment. The loan license application in Form 24C1. Okay. Then we have the good manufacturing practices for homeopathic medicine. Another thing is those who are involved in manufacturing, they have to keep a full-time technical staff for manufacturing of homeopathic medicine. It should not be like part-time gigs coming through hours giving duty employees. They have to have a full-time technical staff in the manufacturing premises who will advise regarding the manufacturing process of homeopathic medicine. So his qualification is also defined under this rule. Like any science graduate, like graduate in chemistry, zoology, or botany, with 3 years of experience of manufacturing in homeopathic medicine, with a homeopathic medicine graduate with 18 months of experience in working in homeopathic manufacturing, or with a pharmacy graduate with 18 months of experience in homeopathic medicine production. So they are allowed to be a technical staff in manufacturing premises. Then there is this food manufacturing practices. For each type of drug, there is separate schedule or separate guidelines for food manufacturing practices. For homeopathy, we follow Schedule M1. Okay. Schedule M is for allopathic drugs, Schedule M1 for homeopathy, and Schedule C for ASC. Then they have to have a laboratory either in-house with the manufacturing unit, or they can also use a private institution approved by the government for this purpose. Before any license is given for manufacturing of homeopathic medicine, the premises will be inspected by the drug inspector. So these are the procedures, like if they are doing something which is not as per the rules, then their application can be rejected, and if it is rejected, whom to appeal. So these are all described under the rules. So license for the medicine is perpetual, but their premises will be inspected every 5 years. So the GMP certificate will be valid for 5 years, and it will be again inspected, and the validity can be increased. Then this is very, very important, labeling and packaging of homeopathic medicine. This is very important for the licensing authority, for the drug inspectors, for the people who are involved in testing of homeopathic medicine. They should also look at what is required to be mentioned on the homeopathic medicines label. So label of homeopathic medicines is defined under 106A of DNC. And any medicine which is imported also, they have to follow this labeling provision. They cannot label it as approved in their country. They have to follow the labeling provisions in India. So they have to mention the homeopathic drug in full botanical name they have to mention. Then with potency. Then they have to mark it conspiracy, homeopathic medicine on the label. Then if it contains alcohol, then they need to mention alcohol content % by volume of inhaled alcohol. It is very important to mention this. Then they cannot use a proprietary name for single ingredient medicine. Like if it is a single ingredient, single botanical name, then they cannot use the company or a proprietary or any trade name for it. For combinations, trade name is allowed. Then 106B is very important one. Hearing in social media that medicine contains so many alcohol, and someone has taken on their own, used it, and they lost need there. But there is a provision 106B which prohibits certain packaging. Like there is prohibition of selling above 30 ml. If the medicine contains above 12% alcohol, then you cannot sell it beyond 30 ml size, pack size. Okay. But for hospital and dispensaries, 100 ml is allowed. So any homeopathic medicine, if you find that alcohol percent on the label, it is 35%, and you are finding it in 400 ml, then you should report it. Then homeopathic pharmacopoeia, in the innovation sessions, I have already told that so many volumes of SPI is there, 10 volumes of SPI is there, and 11th one will be published or released in the month of April. So we have standard of 1,117 drugs of homeopathy in the SPI. So what is SPI? In this, we have information on the character of that drug, how to identify them, what will be the testing standards, because who all are involved in testing, they should read this homeopathic pharmacopoeia of India and see that for homeopathic testing, what are the standards to be followed, and preparation of homeopathic medicine. Several principles are also there. Then food manufacturing practices, as I told, we schedule M1 for homeopathic medicines. These are general principles. These are the basic common knowledge. It will be not like specific to every type of product. There will be an explanation how to manufacture. No, every GMP of every country, there will be basic principles or the basic quality standards or regarding manufacturing, testing, or storage, whatever they have to follow. These are the basic principles which they need to follow. For individual type of medicine, there will be certain premises requirement, or there will be certain instrument requirement or testing requirements that will be mentioned separately. But it is a general principle. You will see more or less the GMP practices of all type of drugs is same. Basically, you have to follow whatever you are doing. Whoever is involved in the manufacturing factory will be doing better. That whatever procedures you are following during manufacturing, that should be well recorded, well documented, and it should be followed. There should be quality checks that whether this has been followed or not. When we go as a drug inspector, we go and see that only. So the record and documentation part is also very important. So food manufacturing process is a production and testing practice. It is non-prescriptive instruction. It is not very specific to that system, but general principles. Then it is the company's responsibility to determine most effective and efficient way. Like if something is mentioned, then you are doing something else. Then you have to justify that why you are changing this protocol, why you are doing this. You have found this method to be more effective in your system. So whatever you are doing, you have to justify it, and it can be acceptable. So for the RD system, most important part is the raw material. So it should be authentic, of prescribed quality, and free from contamination. Now this is the idea what it should be. Now to ensure that raw materials are authentic, prescribed quality, and free from contamination, what all checks you will assign in your manufacturing unit, that should be your idea, or you have to implement that and document it well. So that there is no whoever, if any staff also changes, they also can follow those protocols and can take part in the quality management. So the manufacturing process is as prescribed to Indian standards. Adequate quality control measures to be adopted. Each process will be well documented. So these are the basic principles. Now comes the role and responsibilities of inspectors conducting GMP inspection. So the inspectors for homeopathic drugs is notified in the same section as for allopathic drugs, that is section 21 of the Pregnancy Act. For ASQ drug inspector, the section is 33D. So section 21 is for the inspectors of homeopathic medicine. Now duties. The duties and responsibilities of drug inspector is same for all the systems, because ultimately whatever duty you have to follow, it will be same, but whatever medicine you are dealing with will be different. The duties and responsibilities is same, and the sections are same for all type of inspectors, all type of drug inspectors. So these rules that is prescribed under section 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, all all will be applicable for all the system of medicine. This will be very elaborately led by Dr. Vijay who will be coming on next day. So he will elaborate it very nicely. So listen to him. But a basic principle or basic idea I would like to give that an inspector he is empowered under the GNC Act to do what he can get the sample. He can do so from manufacturing unit or from the sales unit or from distribution. Then he can seize or he can seal the product which he feels that some offense has been committed. He can enter and search any place where he has reason to believe that an offense has been made. Then he can stop, search any vehicle, etc. So all these are the powers which have been entrusted upon the drug inspector, which is mentioned under section 22. Then he can examine any record, register document or any material. And then all these documents which he is seeing, he can, if he thinks that there is some offense done by this party, he can seize those record, register and documents with himself. And but whenever he is seizing the sample or the document, he has to notify or he has to take permission from the judicial magistrate, or he has to inform him that he is going to do so. Are you all doing as drug inspector, are you lifting samples in your state? Yes, samples. So you all must be aware of this, all this procedure. So you have to do that. Then all drug inspectors are also liable for all provisions for code of criminal procedures. Then whenever he is seizing this document or sample, this record, he can do so within 20 minutes. He can keep so for 20 days, and in the meantime, he can also issue a direction to the person concerned that he will not destroy all these records or the other products like that until and unless a decision has been taken upon. So he can inspect the manufacturing unit and see for the good manufacturing practices being followed or not, and take samples, institute prosecution in respect of violation of the Act and Rules. So whenever he is seizing any record or any registered document, then he has to give in writing that he has taken those records in Form 16. And whenever he is taking samples, he will give a form, in writing he will give in Form 17 to the person from whom he has taken the sample. He will give him in writing 17, and he will also tender the amount of that sample. If the person refuses that, okay, you are inspected, they do so, that they will not take the amount, then you have to also take in writing in Form 70A that he refused to take the money which was being offered for taking that sample. So these are very sensitive issues, and you should be aware with all the forms and requirements which is mentioned in the Drug Act. Then whenever he is taking the samples, he will divide the samples into certain numbers. So how he will divide? You can volunteer and say. Very rightly said. So from manufacturing side, if he is taking the sample, he will take in 3 portions, and if it from the sale, then in 4 portions. And then there's an objective that he will divide the sample and send it to different persons. So you can elaborate on that or someone else. Like why he is dividing in 3 portions or 4 portions. To whom he will send it?
from the same room that making the four portions. The four portions are taking four to three products. One portion they use the case other than that, one is injected, and the third portion is into the manufacturing. That's just what it is.
So, this has an objective like there should not be any biasness or any conflict. So, we are dividing the samples into definite numbers of portions. Like when we are taking from the manufacturing side, directly from the manufacturer, we will divide into three portions. One we will seal and keep with the manufacturer himself. That he may say you must have changed the sample or something. So there is no benefit of doubt. So one sample is kept with the manufacturer himself. One sealed portion he will send to his government analyst from where he wants to get that medicine tested. And one portion he will keep to himself. That in case of any objection after a decision has come from the laboratory or the report has come, if there is objection with the manufacturer and he says that sample was different and this sample is different, so at least he has a portion to show his report that it is the same sample. So that's why three portions. And when he's taking from the sale or the retail outlet, then one portion with the sale outlet person, one portion he will send to the person whose name he has disclosed that he has received from the medicine or the supply from this manufacturer or this person. So one portion to that person, one to the government analyst, and one to himself. So this is the portion division. How this is divided, how it is sealed, that my fellow speakers will tell you. Now, whenever he is sending, that also the sending of the sample, because it is a sensitive issue, it is also very much clear-cut defined under the rules, how he will send, how he will seal, so that there is no benefit of doubt in that. So, whenever he is sending the sample to a government analyst, he will request, he will send a memorandum along with it. For drugs and homeopathic drugs, it is in Form 18, and for AFT drugs, it is Form 18A, that he will write what is the sample, what he thinks that it might contain, or what is the objection, and what all tests he requires. He will mention in that form and send to the government analyst. Okay. This memorandum will be form will be different if you are filing to the central drug laboratory like or CCMH. So that memorandum is Form 1 in case of central drug laboratory for normal drugs and for homeopathic drugs. For ASU drugs, it is the Pharmacopoeia Commission that is in Form 1A. So this is regarding how the samples he has to divide and how he has to send along with the form. And when the report is generated in Form 13 for drugs and homeopathic drugs and Form 13A for ASU drugs. In report also, the government analyst has to, his part also has been very clearly defined that when he is giving a report, what procedures he has to follow. Whenever he is opening the seal, he will mark on the form that the seal was in this condition. They will match with the seal which the drug inspector has provided or not, what was the reference number. Then he will, whatever testing or whatever conclusion it will be there. Along with that, he has to clearly define what all testing protocols he has applied. If in case of pharmacopoeia products, he will refer the pharmacopoeia standards of testing which he has applied. In case of non-pharmacopoeia products like PSC products, then what reference standards he has applied, what was available in other standard books, or if he has modified details for certain reasons, he will also mention these modifications he has done for testing of this drug. So this protocol applied, he has to clearly mention when he is giving the report. So these are the standard procedures of drug sample collection by drug inspectors and all, which has been defined under section 23 and 24 and 26. So, so these are the various sections and forms which the inspector has to refer. So these were all regarding the drug regulation of homeopathy in India and insight into the GMP. as well as the procedures of the drug inspectors. So thank you all. Hope it would have been some benefit to you all. Thank you.
Madam, this is regarding the advertisement of Ayurveda. Ayurvedic medicines are sold through advertisement. What action we take or how this is communicated to legal advertisement for them?
Why Ayurvedic medicine is sold through advertisement and why modern medicine is not sold through advertisement?
Yeah, you have said because it was possible, but I don't know why. Surplus is, if I take surplus, nobody will take. I am a disease doctor. But if Amitabh Bachchan or somebody else, somebody advertising, they sold through compromise. Who will take action? Being a doctor, I am a doctor. Patient will come, I should see, I should prescribe. That's it. And the same goes on with the patient and they will hire that. Who is responsible?
See, the government has formed certain acts, especially because of your problem only. It has been heard in 1954. Your problem was heard in 1954 only. That's why the government has made an act, separate act, that is Drugs and Magic Remedies Objectionable Advertisement Act. That time only the government has visioned it that people will be doing this advertisement which will be harmful for the persons who will be self-medicating themselves in the advertisement. So there was this act to restrict those advertisements. Under this act, they have mentioned certain diseases on which you can directly or indirectly, in no form you can advertise. There are around 54 diseases which have been mentioned. You will see most of the advertisement on those diseases like obesity, for height increase, for baldness, for glaucoma, cataract, for kidney stone, for even for fever. Even for fever advertisement is not allowed. So there is an act. There are rules. But what happens, like for traffic, in traffic cases, wearing seatbelt, maintaining the red light, there are rules, there is penalty. But who is not following? Or whom we blame? We blame the inspectors. So in this case also, the inspection system or the enforcement is weak. Because what is happening in case of ASU drugs, I will say, because this awareness among the drug inspectors is not that much, or in most of the states, there is duality. Like the medical officers who was selected for medical officer job, he is given additional charge of drug inspection. Now he will see patients, or whether he will file a court case. And his consider is also so much that he has to take the approval of judicial magistrate, then he has to file case. Then the cases will be running for so many years, and there will be a penalty in case in either monetary or in imprisonment. So because of this long channel of prosecution, maybe the who is responsible, they are not taking action. But there are rules and acts for this. So enforcement is weak. That's why we do not have it. The checks are not there. Then when government is trying to make stringent things also. Then also I think for Ayush systems also, people think that we are trying to restrict awareness about the drugs. So we have to see both sides.
The heavy metal claims, heavy metal use of heavy metal, we use it, but we use it in a proper way. But we are getting a lot of claims and bans of so many other heavy metals. That is actually going since a long time.
So that's why I said that for ASC drugs there is no sale license from them. For homeopathy drugs and this allergy drugs there is sale license. You have to sell only on the registered premises. For ASC drugs till date there is no sale license. So anybody can sell anywhere and anybody can take from anywhere. So that's why by the advertisement they are taking and they are self-medicating, and obviously everything has a pros and cons. With food also, you start taking a particular type of food for unregulated time, it will have an effect. Everything is a poison, like Paracelsus has said. It is a dose which determines that what will be poison and what will be food or what will have a beneficial effect. So if the patients are taking on their own, there will be harmful effects, but those effects we are not considering when we are considering adverse event or adverse effects. We will only consider those cases which was prescribed by the doctor and the patient has taken as a regulated dose. If after that it is coming, then it can be taken as something which needs to be recorded. But if self-medication, we can't really check it. That consumers have to be aware, and awareness is being given by the government. We have the pharmacovigilance scheme also. Like manufacturers,
The products are sold in the market. Other so many other pharmacies, nobody is checking their the quality and so that really go increasing whether they are getting what you say of the safety profile and the same going on that. We are also not sure.
so like I said, there is provisions under this act, and there is testing labs also, these are there. But overall, if you see, the enforcement is not that's why we are doing this capacity building program, that you are being aware of, now you are being aware of the rules. You can try from yourself also to see that these rules are being followed when you are manufacturing the manufacturing side. So it is our combined responsibility.
India and laboratory in Hyderabad, your test samples which have been received, which have been received by the court, or can we also better send our samples to test?
No. This, like, you can send, but the problem is, if there is a challenge, then the person who, the manufacturer or salesperson, he doesn't have any opportunity to be heard. Because this is an appellate liability, it has been restricted at the appellate level. So, to whom he will challenge and get it tested. That's why it is suggested that you go for other labs first. If they challenge, then it will be tested at the central lab.
And because you say like the payment of fees is 2,000.
It has been modified. Now 2000 and lifetime validity. Earlier it was for 5 years. So it will increase and lifetime validity will increase.
And they apply for subsequent retention after 5 years, how much will it cost?
Retention is retention license.
After 5 years, they pay that 250 for next 5 years.
How?
So do we
No, now there is no retention fee. It is one time only they will, you have to, in your jurisdiction, whatever licensing services are there, you have to get them a lifetime validity license. Okay, through Congress.
Okay, ma'am, can you tell me when this will be?
It was, December. You have to refresh your book. Only for 5 minutes.
Everyone. should be the right, not like this. And now put your hands on this and just do the right way. Stay. These are some critical techniques of chest in the head. Now we can do some breathing. Anulom, Vilom. Just make a finger like this and just put it on the right nostril and exhale from your left. And again inhale with the left nostril and close the left nostril and exhale from the right nostril. And again inhale from the right nostril and close. Just you can close your eyes and focus on the breathing. And just take a slow breath, not too fast. Usually you not even letting your breathing noise. It should be very silent. If you can hold your breath, you can also go after the inhale and after the exhale. You just try to focus on your breathing. You are inhaling, so definitely you are exhaling. And keep closing, close your eyes and rub your palm. Just put it on your eyes and just open your eyes to see the palm. Lighten it to go in and move in the direction. You are request for the another session. Moving of the door that will make you agitating. It's a compartment of the knowledge. Thank you.